Big 12 conference, man. What a fight every day and every night to be great in this league, and no different than playing on Sunday at West Virginia. And obviously Ross Hodge being one of my best friends. I love what he's doing with their team. They're finding ways to win close games. They've been in a lot of them, and winning on the road at Cincinnati says a lot about how tough they are. So looking forward to the opportunity to go compete, and we're going to have to play our best. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. I'm always looking forward to competition. I think we all are, and I've changed my viewpoint on this, and I mean this respectfully. And this is just a philosophy more than anything. I used to just look at every game as very important, like we do, but win or lose, and you lose, it's a complete disappointment, and if you win, it's the only way that you can have success. And now I view competing against guys like Coach Hodge and West Virginia and their team as really an opportunity for our team to get better. And until the last game happens and the buzzer goes off and that last game ends, I look at this as like, how can our team get better? And this is a great opportunity for us to get better at West Virginia, because it is a long season, and if you can keep that mindset where every competition is beneficial and it allows you to improve, and there's nobody that I respect more than Ross Hodge and their team, and I know that we'll get better either way because of this game. So really the focus has been on how do we do our best to give ourselves the best chance to win this game. It doesn't matter who the head coach is, doesn't matter who we're playing. Just look at the numbers, look at the personnel, and look at what we got to do to put ourselves in position. And I feel like our practices have been awesome, and our preparation has been right. And I know that if we go out and do everything that we've practiced in order to put ourselves in position with all our heart, we'll be better no matter what. And that's kind of my heart going into it. And it's been difficult. I can't say I've had that approach. I've had the opposite approach, just like I wouldn't say like hating playing these games, but like just not looking forward to it. Now I just look forward to the competition and look at it that way. Definitely. I mean, I know this as an individual. I've messed things up in the past, not intentionally, but just tying things to things that aren't important, honestly, in my approach to the game. And just for our heart, for our team, I know that there's been improvement in all of our areas. And so if I can keep improving in that way, then I know our guys can too. Been on a lot of benches with Ross Hodge where we've been down significantly and we found ways to win. And one of my favorite quotes of all time was in the Wisconsin game in the NIT our last year together, and I think we held them scoreless for 10 minutes, literally, without a basket. And that's not a team from a lower level conference. I mean, that's a Big Ten team that had firepower on offense, and we ended up winning the game after being down significantly. And my favorite quote of his is anytime we had a lead, he's like, or didn't we, he's like, we've got enough points to win. They don't have to score another basket. And that mentality is pretty wild. You know, to think that like scoring is obviously important, but what if you just thought you can actually hold someone without scoring for 10 minutes? And I just think that's him. That's his grit, that's his fight, that's who he is as a person, and I love that about him. And so when they came back on Cincinnati with such great poise, it doesn't surprise me one bit. Well, we talk pretty regularly, so it wasn't really advice. I would just say he and I know each other well enough, and when he knows this league, because we followed it closely when we were together at North Texas and we were together at Arkansas State. When I was at Midwestern State, and he was the head coach at Midland College after I left. I mean, we've just stayed connected and talked about leagues. We actually studied the Texas Tech team together that played in the national championship game with Beard and Adams, and we adopted a lot of the same philosophies in order to put ourselves in position to beat Purdue in the NCAA tournament together. So, you know, I don't know if advice would be the word. I would just say, candidly, we have several conversations about life. And most of our conversations were about his family, because I love them, and about, you know, things that don't have anything to do with basketball, because he's got enough experience with that to handle that. But just how to handle moving and people and what we're doing, and whether those things are beneficial for the bigger picture of what we do with our families and as people. Yeah, I think where we've grown the most is we've gotten more connected defensively. I mean, you can see on those days like we had the other day against Kansas, I thought we were really competitive in the right ways. We lost our way late when we didn't score enough, and then we didn't finish the game like we needed to competitively. But, man, our improvement to our togetherness defensively. And then I just think the natural add of significant players with physicality like Luke, like Josiah, have really kind of, and then playing without Christian, it just knocked us off center a little bit. So how do we build some more continuity and familiarity in the way we compete together with different lineups? That's probably the area we need to improve the most, and the more comfortable we get in that. But I will tell you this, and I say it with my whole heart, our practices have given me a lot of hope. Not necessarily the games, but our practices, so I can see the continuity of different lineups starting to look like, hey, now we're not guessing, now we're competing, and I do think there's a difference. Now we're not trying to play together, we're competing together, and I think that allows you to actually win, not just perform. And there's a difference between competitiveness and playing and winning and, you know, going out there and trying your best to play without getting in trouble. So we're really moving in the right direction from a continuity with lineup standpoint.
You had a couple of days to look at the film and kind of go over it. Had the unique situation you probably didn't want to be in and not have Christian, have to play some other guys. But was there a player that stood out that maybe wasn't as much in the rotation that got some minutes and showed you something that maybe gives them more of an opportunity down the line?
Well, I think the takeaway from the Kansas game ultimately is tied to Jalen Petty, and just, hey, you know, we've been playing basically Christian 40 minutes every game, and so for us to go into the game thinking, hey, what's our supplement going to be when we need breaks for Christian? Instead, we just went the whole game with Jalen basically playing the point, and Jazz came in, and I thought he gave us some great minutes. But really, I think the takeaway is just Jalen Petty's force on the game and how well he can adapt in every situation because of his belief in our team. Yeah, great question. I would anticipate Christian being ready to go with no complications from what he dealt with against Kansas. I mean, he's been back, and we've had 2 great practices with him doing everything that we did prior to, and seen no ill effects or no negative from what happened on Saturday. On Monday against Kansas. So would anticipate him being a full go.
You kind of mentioned how the practice is going to change with all of your guys going to be doing open work. How have you kind of had to change the practice structure with all those guys now and figuring out where, how?
Yeah, great question. We went through a stretch there because we were basically playing 6 guys with a 7th occasionally, depending on foul trouble, where we really managed the game from a half-court standpoint, and we really worked transition defense to a stop, and then half-court offense and half-court defense. It wasn't a lot of flow. Well, now that we've got personnel, we've played up and down significantly more. Why? Because I feel like that's the breakdown that we didn't experience with having Luke back, with having Josiah. Those guys were comfortable kind of playing in half-court, but as a group, we weren't comfortable playing up and down. So our practice adjustments, since we've added those guys, and we've had 4 full strength now, including Jazz because he was out for a little bit, and Mariel we've gone up and down significantly more to try to create more one, just conditioning for those guys to play together, and two, so we can put plays together, because when we were playing in the half court, we were actually successful, but when we had to put multiple plays together up and down, those guys really struggled, and it showed in the games. And so that's where we've made adjustments in our practices.